Even though our world is bustling with billions of people, it's like a giant adventure waiting to be discovered. Believe it or not, there are still some mysterious spots we haven't explored yet. Imagine that. These places are filled with danger and strangeness, just waiting for someone brave enough to uncover their secrets. So, get ready for an adrenaline rush as we dive into 10 of the scariest unexplored spots on Earth. Welcome back to Epic Explorer, folks. Number 10. Bolivia's North Yungas Road. Let's dive into a wild story from Bolivia. There's a road so treacherous, it's nicknamed the Death Road. This road, known as North Yungas Road, used to be a real danger zone. It snaked through the Andes with steep cliffs just waiting to give you a heart-stopping plunge. Imagine driving there. Trucks used to brave this route, but sadly, many didn't make it. Hundreds lost their lives every year. Thankfully, in 2007, a safer road opened up, saving countless lives. Now, the old Death Road is more like a nature retreat, but strange reminders of its past remain. Crosses line the path, marking where tragedy struck. But enough about scary roads. Let's switch gears to something mysterious, an unexplored underwater wonderland. No one knows exactly where it is, and it's hidden under moss. How cool is that? Number 9. Nagoro Doll Village in Japan. Let's talk about something straight out of a spooky storybook. Nagoro, also known as the Village of the Dolls in Japan. Japan's big cities like Tokyo have been booming, while smaller places like Nagoro are shrinking. It's like everyone's leaving for the city. Nagoro, nestled in the Shikoku Valley, is one of those places feeling the pinch. There are so few folks left that one resident came up with a unique solution. She started replacing the missing people with dolls. Yep, you heard that right. Dolls. Each doll represents someone who used to live there. Life-size dolls scattered around the village, in schools, fields, even by the river. Now, who's behind this strange idea? It's an artist who's crafted over 350 of these doll doppelgangers. She says they keep her company in the almost empty village, but let's be real. Walking around a village full of dolls is enough to give anyone goosebumps. So, do you think it's a genius solution to loneliness or just plain creepy? Drop a comment with Doll Village and let's unravel this mystery together. Oh, and if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss out on more spine-chilling tales. Number 8. Hill of Crosses in Lithuania. Let's unravel the mystery behind the famous Hill of Crosses in Lithuania, a spot that's all over Pinterest boards, but might still be a bit of a mystery to you. A hill covered in thousands of crosses. Some say it's one of the spookiest places on Earth. But wait, there's more to it than just ghost stories. This hill holds deep meaning for the people of Lithuania. It's a symbol of remembrance and hope. So why the spooky reputation? Well, imagine a hillside covered in a chaotic jumble of crosses. It can be a bit frightening, isn't it? Especially if you're not into all that religious imagery. Plus, the hill sits near the ruins of a castle that was set on fire during a battle way back in the 14th century. Talk about a dramatic backdrop. The tradition of placing crosses here dated back to the 1800s after an uprising against the Russian Empire. It was a way to honor the victims and stand up against oppression, but during the Soviet era, the crosses were torn down as part of an anti-religious campaign. Brave locals didn't give up though. They defiantly replaced the crosses under cover of night. Today, the Hill of Crosses remains a powerful symbol of faith and resilience. It's not just a spooky spot, it's a place of pilgrimage for many, where they can show their devotion and remember their history. So what do you think? Spooky or sacred? Number 7. Centralia, Pennsylvania. Imagine a town that's literally burning and it's been ablaze for over 50 years, despite countless warnings. Some folks still call this fiery place home. How did it start? Well, ages ago, a landfill fire crept into an old coal mine beneath the town, setting off this perpetual blaze. Efforts to keep folks safe have included rerouting highways and blocking off main streets, but some stubborn souls refuse to leave. Sinkholes can pop up out of nowhere, and toxic gases linger in the air, posing serious health risks. Yet, for those who remain, Centralia isn't just a town, it's their home, flames and all. Number 6. Ganong Caves, Malaysia. Deep in the lush Ganong forest, reserve of Sabah, Malaysia, lies a hidden treasure trove, caves brimming with the world's most sought-after edible bird nests. Yes, you heard it right. People actually make soup out of bird nests. But these aren't your average nests made of twigs and straw. They're crafted by swift leadbirds using strands of their own sticky saliva formed into nests on the dark cave walls. During their 35-day breeding season, these birds work tirelessly to create these unique delicacies. Now you might wonder how these nests end up in soup. Well, generations ago, Chinese tradition embraced these nests for their supposed health benefits, like keeping you youthful. So, it's no surprise that these nests, especially those from the elusive red nest swiftlet, can fetch prices as high as $10,000. It's a curious journey from cave discovery to pricey broth ingredient, but for those who believe in their powers, it's a small price to pay for health and longevity. Number 5. Christ of the Abyss, Italy. Beneath the sparkling Mediterranean Sea, near the shores of San Frutuoso, between the Italian Riviera towns of Camogli and Portofino, stands a majestic bronze statue known as Christ of the Abyss. Crafted by Guido Galletti, this 8-foot-tall figure has been a magnet for tourists, divers, and even documentary crews since its placement in the summer of 1954. Standing in 56 feet of water, it's not alone. There are 3 other statues from the same casting. Found in Grenada and Florida, USA, with arms outstretched, they create a mesmerizing sight as sunlight filters down through the water's surface, casting an otherworldly glow around them. It's a breathtaking glimpse of art and spirituality in one of the most beautiful corners of the world. Number 4. Beilitz, Heilstätten. Hospital, Germany. Imagine a hospital not just haunted, but haunted by the ghosts of Nazis. That's the strange reality of Beilitz Heilstätten Hospital, nestled in the southwest of Berlin. This place has a history that's as chilling as it gets. Built in 1898 as a sanctuary for tuberculosis patients, it later served as a haven for wounded soldiers during both World Wars, including Adolf Hitler himself. After the wars, it continued as a hospital through the Soviet era until it was abandoned in the 1990s. Now, it sits forgotten in the forest, its decaying halls echoing with memories of the past. Despite being used as a setting for films and music videos, its creepy vibes remain untouched. With parts renovated and others left to decay, it's a haunting reminder of the horrors that once lurked within its walls. Number 3. The Door to Hell, Turkmenistan. In 1971, in what is now Turkmenistan, a Soviet drilling rig stumbled upon something straight out of a horror movie. The Gates of Hell. Okay, maybe not exactly, but close enough. They drilled into an underground cavern, which collapsed, leaving behind a massive pit over 300 feet across. To make matters worse, this pit started spewing out toxic gases. So, what did the Soviet team do? They did what any rational group would do. They lit it on fire and hoped for the best. But guess what? The fire didn't go out. In fact, it's still burning to this day. Decades later, some say it's like the entrance to hell itself, right there in Central Asia. Now, burning fossil fuels for 40 years isn't exactly great for the environment, but luckily it's out in the desert, so it's not causing too much trouble. Unlike that trash fire in Pennsylvania that's been raging since 1962, forcing the whole town to evacuate. But finally, in January 2022, Turkmenistan's leader said enough is enough. He announced they would put out the fire and save valuable resources. However, it's easier said than done. They tried back in 2010, but it didn't work out. Let's keep our fingers crossed that this time they'll succeed in closing the door to hell for good. Number 2, Hanas Abyss, Czech Republic. Hold on to your hats because we're diving into another epic hole in the ground, and this one's a real thriller. Now, it might not be on fire or leading to the underworld, but what it lacks in flames, it makes up for in depth. Seriously deep depth. Tucked away in the eastern part of the Czech Republic, this abyss has quite the claim to fame. It's the deepest flooded pit cave in the entire world. Can you believe it? At a whopping 1,543 feet below the water's surface, it's a record breaker. And get this, experts think it could be over 6 miles deep. That's deeper than the deepest oceans, positioned between the Bohemian Massif and the Western Carpathian Mountains. This region is known for its underground gases, which have shaped unique geological features like this abyss. But here's the kicker. This place stinks. With murky water, acidic conditions, and air you definitely don't want to breathe. It's not exactly a dive spot for the faint-hearted, yet despite its strange qualities, some folks still dare to dive into this dark, smelly pit, each to their own. But count me out. Number 1, Snake Island, Brazil. Now hold your horses before you start packing your bags, because I've got some news for you. Civilians aren't allowed on Brazil's Snake Island. I know, it's a bummer. I bet you were itching to explore an island infested with snakes, right? Well, Snake Island, situated 90 miles off the coast of São Paulo, is home to a very special and very deadly guest, the golden lance-head viper. These snakes are no joke. One bite from them and you could be in serious trouble, like under an hour serious trouble. So it's probably a smart move by the Brazilian government to keep folks away from this snake haven. Rumor has it that there are so many snakes on the island that you'll find one slithering around for every square meter of space. Back in the early 1990s, a brave few lived on the island, but their story didn't end well. They were living in the island's lighthouse when, you guessed it, a bunch of snakes somehow made their way in and, well, let's just say it didn't end well for the lighthouse keeper and his family. So yeah, not exactly the dream vacation spot. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe and comment below if you are up to visit any of these places.